Hi people, it's Archivist here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare's multiplayer. Well, to be fair, the footage you're seeing here is going to be of the remastered version because I wanted to show some better footage. And I did also want to mention that because as I've been playing the remastered version of the game, it's clear that there are some differences between this version and the original version. But the intention behind this video, if you will, was to reminisce about the good old days of playing online. So I'm talking about it somewhat in the sense of COD4, but I am showing remastered gameplay, so hopefully that won't be too confusing, right? So I have been doing a few nostalgia videos recently, and one of them was Call of Duty 2 because that was the first campaign that I ever dipped my toe into when it came to Call of Duty. But the first game that I actually owned, that I actually played and got into online was Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, like so many other COD aficionados today. And I was thinking about it and remembered now, this was the very first online experience I ever had on a console. I have to caveat that because I definitely remember playing World of Warcraft before this, so I can't go as far as to say it was my first multiplayer online experience, but it was definitely my first console experience online. And at first I didn't know what to make of that. I wasn't sure how fun that would be. Why would I want to play with a bunch of strangers? That was really the thing back then, was why would I want to join a match with a bunch of random people I don't know, I don't intend on talking to, but I'm going to play with anyway? Why would I do that? That's nuts. And I never did really end up talking to them, even though I thought that would be a barrier to entry. But in reality, especially in the UK, you're put on European servers, so a lot of the time I can't even understand what people are saying. If they are trying to say anything at all, sometimes it's just someone breathing very deeply into the microphone. But what I realised back then, the beauty of multiplayer, is that even if you are on the same map, the variety that another person can provide makes the replay value endless, really, because with bots, if you play against bots on maps like this, you eventually start to notice their patterns, what they do, how they react, and after not too long it gets quite boring. I remember even with the original Black Ops, I thought, oh wow, I can play offline now with bots, and it was fun for training, but it just wasn't the same feel. It also gives you a super dynamic difficulty. Sometimes I'll be in a game where I am just getting kill streak after kill streak and I feel like a god of Call of Duty, and in other games you will have some master of the genre and you feel like you can't get anywhere and the game's unfair and it's frustrating. But that is something about Call of Duty multiplayer which I've really grown to understand, is that it's a game that will really reward you if you're good and seriously punish you if you're bad, because the concept of kill streaks is that someone who is already doing better, someone who already has the upper hand, now gets something to get them to go even further. It gives them some forward momentum. And the longer they do well for, so the better the player they are, the higher and more powerful those kill streaks get. So you start off with a UAV, which gives you invaluable information on where the enemy is on the minimap. Then you move up to the airstrike, which is really good for things like domination, where you can bombard a particular location on the map where maybe they're congregating, and then the almighty helicopter at 7 kill streaks. But if I've already got to 7 kills without dying, I must be a pretty decent player, right? And yet the game has rewarded me, which is fantastic, but it's given me these extra kill streaks, and it just really, I don't know, hammered the point home in some of the games I've been playing recently that this is a series that is brutal to beginners. And I think the reason I'm really thinking about that is because now that I've played a fair few Call of Duty games, I can get a few kill streaks now, I can do decently well. But I remember now, going back to those old days of playing COD4 in 2007, being a mere scrub online, I was battered repeatedly and I got so angry and so frustrated at this game because I was trying to learn. I hadn't got the hang of simply aiming. I didn't really know how to properly set up my class. I definitely didn't value stopping power as much as I should have done because I now realise it's pretty much something I can't go without. And I do wonder sometimes how many new people play Call of Duty because it comes across as a series that is potentially highly inaccessible. I suppose it comes down to how willing you are to go through that scrub period of getting beaten and battered and learning in order to get decent at the game. And I suppose it's an interesting philosophy, and even in Modern Warfare 2, actually, I think Infinity Ward recognised that and they brought in death streaks, so if you died 3 times in a row without getting a kill, it would give you a little bit of a bonus, nothing that would change the game, but maybe like extra health. A lot of people didn't like that, and the reversal of it will help out bad players is that it rewarded failure, and it's a really difficult thing to get your head around. Like, is it correct to bring all players into the same competitive level? Something like Mario Kart, where the further back you are in the race, the better the items, or should you allow players who are already good to get an even greater advantage? But I will say that by just giving the best players access to all the kill streaks and the best guns, the other side of that is that it does give you a game that makes you feel like a hero sometimes. You can genuinely turn the tide of battle on your own if you just keep bringing in helicopters, because helicopters are very disruptive if no one takes the time to shoot them down. So if you are getting kill after kill, getting loads of kill streaks, you almost on your own can disrupt the enemy team so much that you can carry the entire thing. Whereas in games like Battlefield, where kill streaks don't really exist, it's not really the same thing. And I almost have to put it down to a guilty pleasure, because when I thought about Call of Duty Online and what I really like about it, yes, it's the responsive gameplay, the very low time to kill, the satisfying shooting mechanics in general. I have to admit, what really just keeps me going, keeps me addicted, is just always wanting to get that kill streak, always wanting to get one over on my enemy and then really hammer it home with an advantage to the team. I really have enjoyed that. And that's the thing about COD4, it was the game that introduced the world to these sorts of kill streaks, but I don't think it was until Modern Warfare 2 where you could start choosing your kill streaks that I really got into it, because it is a little dull to have to go UAV, strike, helicopter, over and over and over again. But at the same time, those are some of my favourite kill streaks, especially UAV, which I am never without, so I can live with it, right? If you want to go back and play COD4, I think the remastered version is the way to go. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I will say this, on PlayStation 4, there is a very healthy player base. I don't have to wait really any time at all to get into a game. It's as if it's a brand new Call of Duty. I wonder in some part if that's due to renewed interest in Modern Warfare thanks to the new version coming out in 2019. But in the meantime, if you're looking forward to the new 2019 Modern Warfare, I do recommend looking at the remastered version for the multiplayer, because it is a lot of fun still, and it will remind you of the good old days, and if you weren't there in the good old days, it will let you know why they were good old days for us. As always, people, thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.